As every lawyer knows, the bar exam is a terrible ordeal. But in February 2025, a software problem resulted in a truly disastrous bar exam. The problems were so bad that the state bar offered a free retake to anyone who failed.
Heather thinks about software.
The problems arose from test-taking software that was implemented by the state bar. For most of its history, of course, the state bar exam has been taken in person only. During the pandemic, the bar shifted to a system that allowed people to take the bar exam remotely. Then, the state bar saw an opportunity to save money and decided that it should revamp its testing processes, including some remote test-taking options and online deployment for in-person exams as well. The state bar switched in February 2025 to a new software system called Measure, and by all reports, it was a catastrophe. As a result, multiple lawsuits were filed against ProctorU, the provider of the software. There was a case filed by the State Bar of California and a class action suit by the takers to the test. I'll link to the complaints in the description. The State Bar also announced that it would no longer use that software, so apparently it will need to retool for the August exam. I'm sure that will go well. The complaint reads like a litany of a vendor promising everything to get a sale. After all, the California State Bar exam is a large-scale test that any testing service vendor would see as a plum customer. The State Bar alleged that 2 days before the February 2025 bar exam, the basic spell check feature was still causing Measure's platform to freeze, so Measure had to suspend spell check. Then, on exam day, chaos ensued. Remote and in-person test takers could not enter Measure's platform without significant delays, and once they were in the platform, they often were unable to submit responses and experienced frequent crashing and freezing. Once, and if, test takers were able to access Measure's testing platform, many were unable to use the basic word processing and document review tools. Test takers reported that copy and paste, highlighting, and annotation functions did not work. Even basic typing exhibited significant lags. Proctors were incapable of helping test takers and appeared insufficiently trained to administer the bar exam. Apparently, when test takers tried to log in, they got this message. That's like the blue screen of death for your law career. Test takers also alleged that they had connectivity issues that caused them to lose unsaved work. But the testing tech was only part of the problem. To make matters worse, the bar decided to start using AI to write bar exam questions. It hired a company of non-lawyers to both produce and review the questions. Now, to lawyers, I would say this is nearly inconceivable. Test takers reported that the questions were unintelligible and impossible to answer, but in a way, that's the way the bar exam questions have always been. It's clear that the exam did not go smoothly for an unacceptable number of test takers, said State Bar Executive Director Leah Wilson. A lawyerly statement, if there ever was one. Test takers described it in nightmarish terms, which is probably the last time they will say anything candid in their lives. Being a lawyer does that to you, well, until you stop caring and start making snarky YouTube videos. For those of you who are lucky enough not to be lawyers, I should explain a little bit of background. California has a notoriously difficult bar exam, widely considered the most difficult in the U.S. Back when I took the bar exam in the 1990s, it was 3 days long, truly a physical and mental ordeal. Eventually, the state bar reduced it to 2 days, but that's probably still 2 days too long for most people. So as a baseline, it's a grueling experience even if the process goes smoothly. If you add technical problems on top of that, people start freaking out. I have my own story of technology problems that is far less dramatic. When I took the bar exam, it was okay to bring a typewriter to the exam, not a computer. My handwriting is pretty much illegible, so I was relieved that I could use a typewriter. But by that time, typewriters were already becoming relics, so I found 2 used typewriters at a secondhand office supply store in Berkeley and brought them to the exam. Both of them broke, the second one about 30 minutes before the end of the 3rd day. I'm sure I got no credit for anything I wrote by hand during that time. I will never forget the joy of heaving those broken typewriters into the dumpster underneath the exam site. The California State Bar offers 2 exams per year, one in February and one in August. The August exam typically has a much higher pass rate because most students who have gone through a regular 3-year law school take the exam during the summer after they graduate. The February bar has a reputation of being the one taken by people with disrupted law school paths or who have already failed their first exam. The difference in pass rates between the 2 exams can be over 20%. Another thing to know about the California bar exam is that it is not cheap to take. The testing fee can easily be over $1,000. That sounds like a lot of money, but it pales in comparison to the amount of money and resources that people spend going to law school in order to sit for the bar exam. Even so, giving people who failed the exam a free retake is actually quite costly for the California State Bar to do. So you can imagine how extreme these problems were. Apparently, as a result of the problems in February 2025, many people failed the exam, or at least reported that they did. The statistics are not on the State Bar's website yet. I suppose a high failure rate is good news to people who hate lawyers. California has an amazing number of lawyers, over 250,000, but the State Bar has said that those who failed due to technology problems will have the right to practice provisionally until they can take the next bar exam. So, sorry lawyer haters, we are still multiplying like crazy. To make all of this even worse, as I found out just before making this video, the State Bar mistakenly told some test takers they had failed the exam when they actually passed. I guess the only thing worse than that would be finding out you passed and then being told you actually failed. All this begs the question of why government institutions in California are so bad at software. Let's face it, California is the world vortex of software development. During the pandemic, when the mRNA vaccines were first announced for general availability, the reservation system MyTurn for vaccinations in California was glitchy and unreliable. The system cost millions, and appointment software has been around for ages. You'd think they could have at least borrowed some debuggers from the software giants. Meanwhile, the State Bar will need to figure out its technology in time for August. Law school graduations are happening now, and all those newly minted JDs are going to hit new records for anxiety in the meantime. Maybe we should just wait a little longer until AI replaces us all. Presumably, any AI taking the test could fix its own technical problems. Liking and subscribing makes me think more.
Heather thinks about software.